Welcome back to Satisfactory Update 6. My name is Nilaus and we are continuing on this Let's Play guide tour tutorial thing. So what we're going to do now, we are going to, first and foremost at this point, just to make sure that we are all on the same page about where we are on this series, we are unlocking the next tier, tier 5s and 6, and that will be sort of where we're going to be starting off today with unlocking tier 5 and 6, and we get this amazing animation that you only see like 3-4 times in the game, which is kind of weird, but hey, let's sit back and enjoy it. Off you go with the cantina, and here we are. So I have been absent for a bit. It's summer, so summer vacation is the name of the game, and I've had a bit of that as well, but now I'm back. Don't worry, I'm back reinvigorated and full of interest in how we are going to continue this base. Now this series will not only focus on cool, exciting things, because I want you to be able to play along and get some inspiration for your own builds. Maybe you look at my builds and go like, oh, that sucks. Or maybe you are think that's super cool and want to copy or get inspired by it. The first thing I want to show you is how did I get all these things? Well, for all of the unlocks, I always do this part. This is my box crafting setup. I just have 2 boxes. I put the things in I need in these boxes. Just have one of these chugging along, put the status, put the cables, and then when we are done, we pick up whatever we need, start up the next part, and then that's how we unlock the next tiers. I don't really believe that there is a need to build dedicated factories for it, because it's like a one-time usage. You can of course do it if you want to use it for ticket generation, but I do not. So let's talk a bit about what we're going to do today and what you can expect from this series. As I said, we are going to do more than just the highlights, but I will be focusing on designs and sort of showcasing ideas of how you can construct the base and how you can tie it all together, and what are the choices I make in order to make the base come together. So as we just unlocked tier 5 and 6, we need to, well, we can now start working on oil, but I'm not going to start on oil immediately. And the reason why I'm not starting on oil is because I need some specific new alternate recipes, and therefore I'm going to start working on a motor build instead of an oil build instead. But we are going to unlock the oil because I want to unlock the oil. Then we're going to do some hunting. If we go up here and into that location, we now have oil processing, and you can see it requires some motors, and the rest of it is stuff we have. Industrial here, more motors, everything requires motors as well. Over on this side, infrastructure requires computers and more motors here. So we need a lot of motors and heavy modular frames. Those are really the key ingredients at this tech level. So that is what we're going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is handcraft our way to victory so that we can get our oil processing unlocked, because then we can start working on some more hard drives and some more alternate recipes. We've now crafted what we need, and between sessions I have also made sure that our new ingredients, our encased industrial beams, our steel beams, and our steel pipes and steel beams are now also available in our location. We will be getting more items in here. That will be primarily the motors that I'm building now, or that I will be building. But first, let's unlock this resource here. And we now have oil processing. With the oil processing, we can start working on some of that, but skip. But I'm not going to be able to do that because I need the alternate recipes. So let's go out into the world, find some alternate recipes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a loop down here and all the way up here, take everything in this area, and then come back, and we have a ton of new recipes that we can start designing with. Here's one more recipe. We have all the recipes we actually need for what we have here, but we can continue to grind our resources here. There is one recipe that is important for us in our modular motor build, and that is, if we look at motors, here we go, they are constructed in either of these. There is no doubt that this is a better recipe, but it requires a manufacturer that I don't have access to, and it requires us to be able to make crystal oscillators, which means I need to mine crystals, and I need to make AI limiters, or all sorts of things. So even though it's better, I'm going to make do with this one, because what I need it for is just to build it in order for us to unlock things and use it for vehicles and trains or whatever we need motors for. So we need to make a motor factory here. Motor Factory comes from two things. It comes from this data, opening codex. Stator is two different versions I have here. I have the standard recipe, which is steel pipes and wire. That's good. If we go back to the motor, then if we look at rotor, then that is normally built this awful way, but there's actually a really good recipe here, which takes steel pipes and wire. So now we can actually take steel pipes and wire, and that will be steel pipes and wire. That means we can make motors exclusively out of steel pipes and wire, and that is why we are going to build what we're going to build. And I have decided that this location here, sort of teetering on the edge of the toxic forest here and the toxic plateau here, is a great way to have it, because it's nearby. My idea generally, let's go to here, is that I want to build my factory sort of gradually progressing towards this new coast, so we can get some of that terrain. We are already being able to look out there, and then we'll start making sort of new plateaus and stuff in between here, and hopefully more up than down, and that's going to be the essence of it. What I'm going to do is we are going to get two inbounds. We are going to get the steel pipes inbound. We have our steel tower over here, and we'll make another floor at this location. We'll be making steel pipes. That will bring 120 steel pipes in on this bridge. And over from the other side, if we scan from here, take some iron ore, we will be able to see that we have to have some iron ore. I keep pressing N instead of M. Out here, right there. That will be have a lot of pure iron ore, so I'm going to take it up here and into that location coming from this side. So let's talk a bit about how we're going to build this, or actually start designing it, because that's the main part of these episodes is design work. Let's assume we get 100 steel. We're going to get 120 steel pipes in. So let's take a look at what it is we want to build. So we're going to start by, it's beautiful, this water. We're going to start by working on motors. That is 5 motors per minute, and it takes 10 rotors and 10 stators. All right, so 10 rotors and 10 stators. Let's have a look at the sub-components for this. We have steel rotor, steel pipes and wire, and it goes into rotor. So this only makes 5 rotors, so we need 2 of these built. There we go. 2 alternate rotors, and on the other side, it's called not going to be correct. Then we will have stator, that's the default stator. That's 15 plus 40, also making 5, so we need 2 of these. So instead of making a big manifold pattern, I really prefer, and this is something I want to do in this series, I want to try to make designs that are more modular. So this is basically a module. Module will be making 5 motors per minute. That's what we do here, and then I'll go count backwards and see how much I need of each of the ingredients. That is 10 steel pipes times 2, so 20 steel pipes. Over on this side, it is 15 plus 15, so 30 steel pipes. So one module takes 50 steel pipes, and also when it comes to wiring, 40 times 2, that's 80, plus 30 times 2, that's 60, that's 140. So 140 wire and 50 steel pipes. Since my module over here of another level of steel pipes is going to generate 120 steel pipes, then I'm just going to say, well, that's probably just 100, and just make it out for 100, and that means I can make 2 of these modules, which will give me a total of 10 motors per minute, which is plenty for whatever we need for the time being. It can be expanded if we expand more floors out here, if we expand out here. And then the last thing we want to do or to figure out is how many of the builds here of the iron wire, because I've decided to do the iron wire instead of the copper wire because I have more iron available than I have copper available, so we just do this one instead. And each of these can make 22.5. That means I'm going to need 2 of them for each here, downscaled to only make 15 each. So you will be outputting 15, not a problem. And also on the other side, that means I'm going to have 4 constructors making iron wire downscaled to support this. And over on this side, I am going to have also iron wire here. This is 40, so that will be downscaled to produce 20 outbound each, 20 here. And then I'll have 4 of those as well. That is going to be the setup we are working on here. And then it's just a matter of working on it. If we look at it, this will be taking 12.5 then we can definitely make it easier. Let's start by doing the first things first. The first thing is the module. What's it called? What are these called? These are called smelters. I'm going to use this for alignment purposes. Go here, make a smelter. I'm not going to make it on the first one. I'm going to make it on the second line. And we're going to design one module. That's one module. Then I'm going to have a splitter, splitting the output from here. That will be split. I'm going to have to take you out. And that will go to this location and this location. Alternate iron wire, output 15. And then copy and then paste. These go out, this go out, this go out. And we now can make sets for these two go into the first assembler, this go into the second assembler. Those are all going to be, can I do this? That one and that one. All right. Then here, 1, 2, 3, 4. These will be making into the rotor build, no, the stator build. Again, for this part, get that in here. And copy, paste, paste, paste. There we go. And I will be making it here. Each one of these is going to be feeding into 2. So it'll be at this location. This location. I'm trying to make this as easy to build as possible, because since I'm building modules, I was looking at some other things and just minimizing the number of machines. If I minimize the number of machines, it means 3 smelters into 7 constructors into 4 assemblers, and that's just not good ratios for Satisfactory, and it's also really complicated to make. So by doing this, it's relatively simple, I'd say. So at this point, we now need to consolidate each of these two. That means into a merger, and that will be made right there. And we now need to make the next part, which is kind of the toughest part of this, is figuring out where to build the assembler. But there's a trick. Okay, first of all, what are we doing here? We are trying to, we want the assembler to be standing like this, at a distance away, so that if I have a line up top, that's a merger, I want a splitter. 1, 2, 3, then this goes in and clicks perfectly. This is not clicked perfectly, so that's the trick. So if we have this in the middle and we want to make it fit perfectly in here, the trick is you go from that 1.5 foundation, which is here, and then you go 1 tick to this, 1 tick more. So it's 1.5 foundation plus 1 little tick. If you do that, let's see, that's the one, and then we get our, and I only want that as mark 1. It'll fit perfectly like that. So remember that if this is in the middle, then you jump half a foundation, a full foundation, and then 1 tick over from being on that line. And then we can do the rest of this. This will be a mark 1 belt. That just goes in. That goes in, gets consolidated, and that goes in here. That means we have up here, we have the steel pipes coming in, and down there we have the iron wire coming in, and it'll just consolidate into a complete build of steel rotors like this, 30 plus the steel pipes, and it then comes out. Then we just have to figure out what to do. Oh, there we go. So for example, the MAM is ready. This is one of those things. We will always be continuing, and you can see we get the polymer resin, whatever. And we can always just keep expanding these, keep getting more until you have the recipes you need for plastic. And that's why we are continuing to do this while I'm building this. So at this point, we just need to build the remainder of this. And since this is more of a repetitive setup, then I am going to skip that for the most part. And then because, well, that's how Satisfactory works, we have to set all of it up. So get a manifold in here, split it in, get some way of doing doing power, set up recipes, set up the building, merging. Let's get all of that done so we can go on with the next part. And here we are. We have now hooked up everything, and as you can see, colors have changed again. This is due to the awesome people on Twitch chat who decided that this is a better color. I couldn't agree more. It is beautiful. And what we're doing here, we now have our 2 modules, and they will combine into making 10 motors per minute, and that's brilliant. So all we need now is, well, hooking up the power for one, and also hooking up the resources over from this side. It's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience, you could say, and that will get it in here. So that's super easy. We will on this side though, we are going to have to rely on getting more concrete in. Or sorry, not concrete. Speaking of concrete, I do love my brutalist style here. We've sort of embracing the brutalist style here. But yeah, we need steel pipes coming in here. 100 steel pipes technically, or 120 would be nice as well. Just want to do this so that we can take a look at how this looks now. I really like the brutalism combined with the pink theme. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's a thing. And I really like open builds because then you can see what's going on, and instead of just wrapping it up and then all you see is just walls. So that's just a flavor thing, and it's kind of how I build my factories. I've also replaced all of the stupid stairs with some kind of wonky tubes here instead. That will take those up to the 10th floor. Each of these floors is a separate steel factory, and they will be producing either 45 steel beams or 120 steel pipes, and that's what each of those does. And when I then go up here, and then I'm ready to build another floor. And if we need more, we can just upgrade the belts and the miners and more power shafts, getting in here, and then build another level on top if we feel so inclined. Now, instead of me building this, we do already know what it's going to look like. Then I want to take this opportunity when we are sort of between design sessions here to thank you all for supporting. Now, I don't do ad integrations. I don't do sponsorships, very, very rarely at least. Then that means I am relying exclusively on the support from the community as well as a bit of ad revenue. So thank you very much to everyone who's supporting on Patreon and making it possible for me to continue to run the channel as I like without all of these pushing weird ads. So thank you. And if you want to support, you can see the link over to the site, patreon.com/Nilaus, or Jen on Twitch. But of course, it is not for everyone, and that is perfectly okay. You are always welcome to just watch and enjoy if that is your thing. So this part we can build it if we want to, but we can also just whoosh away and then see the whole thing built. Let's go to this corner. It's a better place to look at it being whooshed into existence. And here it is. This is the new build, or well, it's not a new build. I have it in a previous video. So if you want to see the steel tower, the brutalist steel tower, that scene makes perfect sense. And that is now ready to be hooked up. All we need to do is hook it up from here, and that will just get the whole thing started. We are going to get the iron part in. We're going to leach 120 iron off the main line here and 120 coal off the main line. The iron goes in and becomes smelted into iron ingots, as we can see. Of course, it's going to need the whole manifold setup thing as usual to scale it up and make sure that it flows and all of it is working. Here we get the coal as well, coal plus iron ingots, and that starts working. We are now starting to work. We get the steel ingots. Steel ingots are getting split into 2 locations because I am producing 60 per minute, and each of those goes into here. 30 per minute, 30 in, 20 steel pipes out. If we follow the first steel pipes as they come out, it'll take a bit of time. On the other side, I've already hooked up the iron line so that is already filling in to start working on being iron wire, and we're going to be following the first of these steel pipes going into the main line and wishing away. And we're just going to follow this back into our factory. Now I can't go up that, but I can go on this one. And here comes the first steel pipes. Let's run them back into our base. I thought something was not powered. Nah, it is. And we can see here on the first line, a lot of these are already green because they are already consuming, or they're already getting the iron they need inbound. And of course, again, this will need to scale up, and in order for it to get stuck, so that the next one will get even more. It will have sufficient. All of this is consuming a total of 8 times 30, so 424. But it doesn't even, because it's actually scaled down a bit, going into these locations that are either scaled to 20 per minute or to 15 per minute. Where is the 15 per minute? There's a 15 per minute. So that they go on the next part. It might be a bit difficult to see. We can build one of these towers, and maybe that's going to make it slightly easier. We don't have any jetpacks or hovercrafts or hover packs yet, so we're going to have to make do with just a good old-fashioned thing. So each pair of 2 goes into one assembler. You can see the steel pipes are coming up here. They're coming in at a rate of 120 per minute, and they're being consumed at a rate of 100 per minute. So over time, it will saturate the belts, and the whole thing will work at 100% efficiency. But it does take a bit of time. You can see that these are not actually working yet. We have this going here. That is green. The issue is that when I get steel pipes coming from this side over here, it'll have a tendency to go 50% into here, next 50% into here, or sort of 25%, 12.5, 6.25, and then it becomes like really, really small percentage that even leaks to this side. Now, similarly, it goes from the other side when it comes to the iron ore. We can see that the belt out here is, even though it's only going through a few iterations here, it's almost empty at this point, while it is coming in basically a full belt coming in, 240 out of 270 capacity. But only when the first ones start fully scaling up and becoming sort of stuck at 100 internal buffer, then it'll start pushing more down the line. You can see more and more is starting to turn green. That is good. And we can start, hopefully this is turning green, so we see the first rotors coming out. Great. It'll probably be this part here that works faster. So that we have the first stators. And do we also have some rotors on the other side? We have stators coming out. And now one of the concerns, there is a little glitch there. Someone has forgot to set a recipe, such as a motor recipe. Here we go. Now, you might be saying, hey, you are not exporting status as a separate item. And I'm not doing that because status as a separate item is something that I don't need until I have... It's for an alternate supercomputer build, I think. So it's really not something I need to design for right now. When we get to an alternate supercomputer build, if ever, then we'll address that problem as we get it. And yeah, and what does it depend on? Whether we will get to a alternate supercomputer, turbo motor. It was turbo motor, never supercomputers. Turbo motor. There we go. That's the first motors coming out. What it depends on is basically the support. Is it still something that's interesting for you to watch, both on Twitch and on YouTube? Then I will continue to do it because I love playing games that are being watched, so it's going to continue to be fun for me if it's fun for you to watch. So that's how the synergy works. This goes back, and we can then rush on up to our tower and just complete it by seeing that is now coming in fully nicely into our storage, our central storage that we built in the previous episode. Here we go, up into storage, and remember to turn on the light afterwards. We have a dedicated location for motors already here. Well, it's not, but it will be right now. That will be switched into motor. There we go. And voila, we got the first 3 motors. Now, from here, what is going to be the main parts that we're going to be working on? Well, let me show you. We have now a consumption that is higher than our max consumption is way higher than our production. Our current consumption is dangerously close to our production, and that is a problem. So what we need to do is we need to unlock some better belts, because we already have it. Let's have a look. It's over on expanded infrastructure. This one, Mark 4 belts. We need to unlock this part. Need some rubber. We can buy that if we need it from the shop. And heavy modular frames, we can get some computers if needed. We can buy those, or we have found a few of those out in the world. Yeah, we only need actually 13 more. So the idea is that we need that, and we can upgrade the belt so I can get more coal coming in on this line. Then I can upgrade this coal plant to be just a bit bigger, it is possible with the water we have available. So that's going to be the next thing, because I am not in a position where I can actually expand to making oil power yet, because it's going to be using a lot of refineries, and refineries, if we look at refineries, they take 30 megawatts each. So putting down another 20 of those is absolutely going to kill my power. So I need to scale up power before, even though it's the stupid old coal power. So that needs to be scaled up. Then I can start working on some oil, plastic, jetpack fuel, and oil power as well. Now that we have all of the interesting oil recipes we need, we have in terms of plastic, we have the recipe for the residual. We don't have all of them. We have alternate plastic. We don't have the recycled plastic. That's something we need. We have rubber. We have the recycled rubber. That's something we absolutely need. We have recipes. Here I think we have the packaged fuel. We need to look at the diluted packaged fuel as well. So there's definitely a few more items or a few more recipes that we need to get before we are really ready to make the big oil builds that we want to make. So I hope that was interesting and enlightening, inspiring, entertaining, whatever it was. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you will be hitting the like button, as that helps with visibility. And if you for some odd reason have not subscribed, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, come on over to Twitch. I'm streaming this Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central European Time on Twitch TV/Nilaus. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.